Nelson Linder, President Austin, NAACP.
All right. Can you spell your name for me too?
Nelson, Nelson, Linder, Linder.
All right. And I saw from, I think it was Fox 7 and
Right.
Axios as well, your thoughts on Chief Chacon becoming the, or planning to become the actual police chief of APD.
Well, I think we missed an enormous opportunity. He was not the best qualified candidate. And in my opinion, you go from interim police chief, I want the job, to police chief. I think that process is flawed. What I saw all the candidates. He might have been top 5, but definitely not the best choice. Because right now you don't want continuity. You want new ideas, different approach, cultural change. The thing they talked about and they didn't do. So I think it's hypocrisy. It's a terrible choice as an example for the future.
So what sort of change are you looking for, or what sort of change were you hoping for in this process?
We talked about cultural change, understanding trauma, understanding healing. And one candidate had that kind of approach, Amada Tenjeria. She understood what it meant to feel trauma, pain, and start there and to build a force that builds trust. And by the way, the officers like that. She had a kind of a skill level to do that and also do it traditional policing. Chacon doesn't have that. I mean, he's part of Austin. You can't disconnect him from the past. And so to hire Manley and then Chacon, that's not reimagining anything, really. It's good old boy stuff, as I called it, if we're gonna say in the same place. Not against Chacon, but I know the guy, they know him also. That's not his approach. If you wanted reform, pick the guy from Wichita, Ramsey. He was a reformist, but not Joseph Chacon. That's not his thing.
So what is your message to the city and to the city manager's office? Because it's really up to Spencer Cronk to offer that position.
I think Cronk made a mistake. I think he disappointed the people of Austin. I think he was disingenuous. I think he aborted his true mission, which is to have change, not reform. We've had reform for how many years? 20 years. I think he basically got pressured by politicians, as I said here, and made a different choice. I mean, the guy did a U-turn. He was going one way. We said, okay, we got a new police chief, different culture. He went the opposite direction. He can't explain that. He knows it's true. He disappointed me and all the folks who wanted a cultural change so we could set Austin straight. You can't change things behind the same people all the time who are part of the problem and solution.
You've been part of the leading the NAACP here in Austin for longer than just this one transition between police chiefs.
21 years, right? Mm-hmm.
How is this different or not different from previous transitions from police chief to police chief?
Well, let's think about the death of George Floyd last year, how it transformed the whole nation. A lot of folks made promises what they were going to do. Most of them didn't. Right now, we're at a critical time. This is not Acevedo. This is not me. We're at a critical point in this process where folks are demanding change. So to me, right now, he had a chance to really set the record straight and address discrimination, address trauma in the Black and brown community. He did none of that. He took the softest approach possible, did little changes possible. They're calling it reform. That's going to be a terrible mistake. He's going to pay a price for it.
Are you surprised to find yourself on the same side as the Austin Police Association?
Well, not at all, because frankly, I know those guys pretty well. And you know what? Beyond the association, they're also human beings. They understand more than anybody right now that we need change in this city because that benefits policing. So am I surprised? Absolutely not. I talk to anybody, and they know what they're talking about. They know that right now in this city, you don't need status quo. They're hurting. There's pain with them also. They need leadership that understands the culture and the challenges. That's why they're supporting Tenjeria, because they understand she's better qualified. They know Chacon better than anybody. So, I'm glad we're on the same side because in the final analysis, it takes everybody here to make this city better. And those folks who oppose each other have a lot to say about that process. And we're agreeing, that's kind of good for both of us, basically.
So, assuming that all this, goes off without a hitch this week, and Chacon is officially, given that title of police chief rather than interim police chief, what is your message to him? How do you hope to work with him to make the changes that you want to see? Or do you not even see that as a possibility?
I don't have a message for Chacon because he was picked by folks who don't want that. He's a status quo candidate, not a bad guy, but you don't grade folks based on them being interim police chief. That's a whole different analysis. In fact, I bet if most folks knew that, they probably wouldn't apply for the job. So I don't have any message for him other than do what he feels is right if he's selected. I'm hoping that the city council will see this mistake and not confirm him for the betterment of the city, especially black and brown people. Nothing against him. I don't have a message for him because he's always been picked by somebody else. And those folks now, we don't share the same goals, obviously. I want to stop to the killing here of black and brown people and a better police force based on cultural changes, not what's reform mean? It means policy. These are not policy issues. These are issues involving human beings who know how to treat people in diffuse situations. This is not change, this is reform. So I don't have much to say about that really other than the city council should do the right thing and say what they promised, which is change and cultural relevance and competency, not policy changes. We've had that for 21 years. It hasn't solved anything.
Where do we go from here?
Well, I thought about the master plan of 1928, which shaped the soul city. Trump had a chance to change the whole focus of Austin, Texas. He set us back, if he selects Chacon, he's a firm, he set us back 30, 40 years. This was an enormous opportunity to say, hey, America, we're ready to lead the way. He said, no, we're not ready. We're going to do status quo with the good old boys and keep things the way they are. That's his message. But that's his background anyway.
All right. Is there anything else that I'm missing about this? Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
The people of Austin should be upset by this whole choice. People here are too laid back. They should raise their voices at City Council on Thursday and tell the City Council to not confirm this choice and pick the best candidate, who is Amada Tenderides by far, in the public polls and all polls. So if she had the best scores and the best presentation, why is she not police chief?
All right. I'm all set.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Very welcome, sir.